For nearly a century, the US dollar has functioned as the invisible backbone of the global economy. It is the unit in which oil is priced, debts are settled, and reserves are stored by central banks worldwide. From Wall Street to small ports in Africa and Asia, the dollar lubricates trade and stabilizes expectations. Yet this dominance was not accidental. It was constructed through war, institutions, and trust. Understanding what could replace the dollar begins with understanding how deeply it is embedded in everything we use and consume. The dollar rose to power after World War II, when much of the world lay in ruins while America's economy stood intact. The Bretton Woods system pegged global currencies to the dollar, and the dollar itself was tied to gold. This made the US currency the ultimate reference point for value and stability. Even after the gold link was severed in 1971, the dollar retained its throne not because of gold, but because of global dependence and institutional inertia. Despite its dominance, cracks are forming beneath the surface. Exploding national debt, chronic trade deficits, and relentless money creation have raised concerns about long-term confidence. When a reserve currency is overused, it risks dilution of trust. History shows that no currency reigns forever, and the dollar may be approaching its most dangerous test yet. In recent decades, the dollar has evolved from a neutral trade medium into a geopolitical weapon. Sanctions, asset freezes, and exclusion from dollar-based systems have alarmed many nations. Countries now realize that dependence on the dollar also means vulnerability to political pressure. This realization is accelerating global efforts to seek alternatives. The Dutch guilder, British pound, and Roman denarius all once dominated world trade. Each eventually collapsed under debt, overreach, and loss of trust. Reserve currency status, amplifies per boot, also accelerates decline. The dollar is not immune to the same historical forces that ended every financial empire before it. A dollar collapse does not mean the currency disappears overnight. Instead, it means loss of confidence, reduced global usage, and declining purchasing power. Inflation rises, imports become expensive, and financial markets grow unstable. The real collapse happens psychologically when trust evaporates. History suggests reserve currencies usually fall slowly, then settle. Years of warning signs are ignored until one shock event triggers a rapid shift. This could be a debt crisis, war escalation, or loss of oil pricing dominance. When momentum flips, replacement systems emerge faster than expected. Central banks are diversifying reserves, bilateral trade deals bypass dollars, and gold purchases are surging. These moves rarely make headlines, but they reveal deep strategic preparation. The world is not waiting for the dollar to collapse, it is quietly planning for a post-dollar future. If the dollar fades, something must take its place or the global system fragments. The real question is not whether the dollar will be replaced, but what kind of system replaces it. A single new currency, a basket of assets, or a decentralized digital order? The answer will reshape the next century of global power. Long before paper money, digital balances, or central banks, gold served as humanity's universal store of value. Civilizations rose and fell, but gold endured as money because it could not be created at will. Its scarcity, durability, and global acceptance made it the foundation of trust for thousands of years. When modern currencies weaken, history shows that nations instinctively return to gold. In recent years, central banks have been buying gold at the fastest pace in decades. Countries like China, Russia, and India are steadily increasing gold reserves while reducing exposure to dollar-denominated assets. This silent shift signals preparation, not panic. Gold offers neutrality free from political influence and immune to sanctions. Despite its strengths, gold has limitations in a modern financial system. It is difficult to transport, hard to divide for daily trade, and incompatible with high-speed digital transactions. A pure gold standard would restrict economic flexibility and limit credit creation. Gold may not replace the dollar directly, but it could anchor whatever replaces it. Special drawing rights, or SDRs, are an artificial reserve asset created by the International Monetary Fund. They are not a currency you can spend, but a claim on a basket of major currencies. SDRs were designed as a backup system activated during global crises when confidence in individual currencies weakens. The SDR derives its value from a mix of the US dollar, euro, Chinese yuan, Japanese yen, and British pound. This structure spreads risk across multiple economies instead of relying on one nation. If the dollar weakens, the SDR automatically rebalances, making it more stable by design. Despite their stability, SDRs suffer from one critical weakness: distance from the public. They are controlled by institutions, invisible to everyday citizens, and lack emotional trust. Money requires belief, not just structure. Without widespread acceptance, SDRs remain a backstage tool rather than a global replacement. Some economists propose asset-backed currencies combining gold, commodities, and even productive land. These systems aim to restore trust while maintaining flexibility. By tying money to real-world assets, governments could limit reckless printing while supporting economic growth. This hybrid model sits between gold rigidity and fiat freedom. Several nations are already experimenting with commodity-based trade settlements. Energy, metals, and agricultural goods are being exchanged directly, bypassing traditional currencies. These arrangements reduce reliance on the dollar and increase resilience in volatile times. Trade itself becomes the settlement mechanism. Asset-backed systems weaken financial dominance and redistribute power. Nations rich in natural resources gain leverage, while financial hubs lose monopoly control. This shift would redefine alliances, trade routes, and influence. Monetary systems, once again, would reflect physical reality, not financial abstraction. Gold is unlikely to reclaim its throne as daily money, but it will remain the referee of trust. It will anchor reserves, settle imbalances, and stabilize transitions. In a post-dollar era, gold does not rule, but it judges. And history shows that when confidence collapses, gold always has the final word. Over the past 4 decades, China has transformed from an isolated economy into the world's manufacturing engine. It is now the largest trading partner for more than 120 countries and a central node in global supply chains. Economic scale is a prerequisite for monetary power, and China has clearly met that requirement. The question is whether economic strength alone can elevate the yuan to global reserve status. To replace the dollar, a currency must do more than facilitate trade. It must be trusted, liquid, freely transferable, and backed by deep financial markets. Central banks need safe places to park trillions of dollars without fear of sudden restrictions. Reserve status is not declared, it is earned through transparency, consistency, and confidence. China has steadily expanded the yuan's use in cross-border trade, especially with Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Energy deals, infrastructure projects, and raw material purchases are increasingly settled in yuan. These arrangements reduce dollar dependence and strengthen China's financial influence. Trade usage, however, is only the first step toward reserve dominance. China's Belt and Road Initiative is not just infrastructure, it is financial architecture. Loans, construction contracts, and repayments are often denominated in yuan. This creates long-term currency exposure for participating nations. Over time, these debts quietly normalize the yuan as a settlement and reserve currency. Unlike the dollar, the yuan is not freely convertible. China tightly controls capital flows to protect domestic stability. While this shields the economy from sudden shocks, it also discourages foreign investors. A reserve currency must move freely, especially during crises, and this remains a major obstacle for the yuan. Global trust depends on clear rules, independent institutions, and predictable governance. Critics argue that China's financial system lacks transparency and political independence. Sudden regulatory shifts and state intervention create uncertainty. For reserve holders, uncertainty is risk, and risk drives capital away. China is leading the world in central bank digital currency development. The digital yuan allows instant settlement, traceability, and state-level oversight. It could revolutionize cross-border payments and bypass dollar-based systems. Yet its centralized design raises concerns about surveillance and control. Many nations welcome diversification, but resist replacing one dominant power with another. Dependence on the yuan could expose countries to Chinese political leverage. As a result, governments often treat the yuan as a supplement, not a substitute for the dollar. The yuan is more likely to dominate regionally rather than globally. In Asia and parts of the global south, its role will continue expanding. But global reserve status requires universal trust. The yuan's future may be powerful but geographically concentrated. The yuan will not fully replace the dollar, but it will weaken its monopoly. It represents a shift toward a multipolar monetary world. Instead of one dominant currency, power will be shared. The dollar's successor may not be singular, it may be fragmented. Money is no longer just paper, and metal it is becoming code. Over the past decade, Digital currencies have evolved from fringe experiments into serious contenders within the global financial system. Speed, efficiency, and borderless transactions are redefining how value moves. If the dollar collapses, digital money may not just replace ETIT, may redefine money itself. Bitcoin emerged in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis as a protest against centralized money. With a fixed supply and decentralized structure, it offered an alternative built on mathematical trust rather than institutional authority. For many, Bitcoin represents digital gold hedge against currency collapse and monetary abuse. Despite its strengths, Bitcoin faces serious limitations. Price volatility, limited transaction capacity, and regulatory uncertainty restrict its role as everyday money. Governments are unlikely to surrender monetary sovereignty to a decentralized network. Bitcoin may challenge the system, but it will not govern it. Stablecoins attempt to combine digital efficiency with price stability. Pegged to traditional currencies or assets, they offer fast settlement without extreme volatility. In a collapsing dollar scenario, stablecoins could act as temporary lifeboats, preserving value while systems transition. Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, represent the state's response to digital disruption. Unlike cryptocurrencies, CBDCs are fully controlled by governments. They offer efficiency, transparency, and instant settlement buta, also unprecedented oversight. Money becomes programmable. CBDCs allow governments to track transactions, enforce tax compliance, and implement monetary policy with precision. Stimulus payments can be delivered instantly. Interest rates can be programmed directly into wallets. For policymakers, CBDCs are power tools offering control never before possible. With control comes concern. Critics warn that CBDCs could eliminate financial privacy and enable social control. Transactions could be monitored, restricted, or even reversed. The collapse of the dollar may force adaptation, but at the cost of individual autonomy. Digital currencies could bypass traditional banking rails entirely. Cross-border payments that once took days could settle in seconds without using the dollar. This undermines one of the dollar's strongest advantages and accelerates the rise of alternative systems. The most likely outcome is not replacement, but integration. Cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, and CBDCs will coexist. Each serves different needs: privacy, stability, or control. The post-dollar world may be digital, but it will not be uniform. Digital currencies will not immediately replace the dollar, but they will outgrow it. As trust shifts from paper promises to programmable systems, money itself evolves. The collapse of the dollar may not crown a new king, it may end the monarchy entirely. For decades, the global economy revolved around one dominant currency. But history suggests that such concentration is the exception, not the rule. As confidence in the dollar weakens, the world is not rushing toward a single replacement. Instead, it is drifting toward fragmentation, where multiple currencies share influence across regions. In a multi-currency world, trade is settled using different units depending on geography, politics, and resources. Energy might be priced in one currency, technology in another, and regional trade in local units. This system reduces dependency but increases complexity. Stability comes from balance, not dominance. Economic regions are forming currency blocks. Europe leans on the Euro. Asia experiments with yuan-based trade, and parts of the global south favor local settlements. These blocks strengthen regional resilience while weakening global uniformity. Power becomes localized rather than centralized. The euro already functions as the world's second most important reserve currency. Its deep markets and legal stability make it attractive. However, internal political fragmentation limits its global ambition. The euro may not dominate, but it will matter more than ever. Energy markets are ground zero for monetary change. Oil and gas deals are increasingly settled in non-dollar currencies. Once energy detaches from the dollar, global demand for dollar reserves declines. This shift quietly reshapes the entire financial ecosystem. Countries are rediscovering local currency trade agreements. These deals reduce exchange risk and protect against external shocks. While inefficient at first, they increase sovereignty. The future may favor resilience over convenience. Fragmentation redistributes power. Resource-rich nations gain leverage, while financial hubs lose exclusivity. Consumers face higher costs, but governments regain policy control. The system becomes less efficient but more politically balanced. Global markets thrive on standardization. Fragmentation introduces friction, volatility, and uncertainty. Hedging costs rise, capital flows slow, and risk premiums increase. The age of cheap global finance may be ending. A multi-currency system spreads risk, but also coordination failures. No single authority can stabilize the system during crises. Stability depends on cooperation, not dominance. The question is whether politics can keep up with economics. The post-dollar world may feel unfamiliar, slower, and more complex. But it reflects reality, more accurately a world of competing interests rather than universal trust. The age of a single monetary king may be ending, replaced by negotiated coexistence. When a reserve currency fades, the world does not reset. Overnight, financial systems adapt through friction, negotiation, and experimentation. Markets search for new anchors. Governments test new alliances, and institutions redefine their roles. The end of dollar dominance would mark not collapse but transformation. Nations rich in natural resources, manufacturing capacity, or strategic geography stand to gain. Without dollar dependence, they negotiate trade on their own terms. Financial sovereignty becomes leverage. The winners are those who control what the world needs, not just what it uses to pay. Financial hubs built on dollar liquidity face adjustment. Cheap borrowing disappears. Deficits become expensive, and consumption declines. Influence shifts away from financial engineering toward real production. The era of exporting inflation may be ending. Institutions like the IMF and World Bank were designed for a dollar-centric system. As that system fragments, their legitimacy is tested. Reform or irrelevance becomes the choice. Coordination replaces control. Trade becomes more negotiated and localized. Long-term contracts replace spot markets. Strategic partnerships matter more than open access. Efficiency declines, but stability increases. Without reserve currency privilege, nations must balance budgets and manage debt responsibly. Inflation becomes visible and painful. Monetary discipline, wanzhou becomes mandatory. The financial system reconnects with reality. Digital infrastructure, not currency, may become the real foundation of global finance. Payment systems, settlement networks, and data transparency replace symbolic dominance. Control shifts from who prints money to who builds systems. Transitions are dangerous. Missteps, power struggles, and misaligned incentives can trigger instability. Cooperation determines outcomes. The future depends less on currency choice and more on governance quality. For individuals, money becomes less abstract. Prices fluctuate, savings strategies change, and financial literacy becomes survival skill. The post-dollar world rewards adaptability, not blind trust. No currency rules forever. Money reflects power, trust, and discipline, not destiny. The collapse of the dollar would not end global finance, that would reveal its true nature. In the end, systems survive, not because they dominate, but because they adapt.